Hey guys, and welcome back to the Gone for 10 show. We are back. It's NRL. It's round 5. We're here to cover all the games of the week. We'll have our previews for the games. We'll give our predictions. We'll then jump into any other talk that does come up surrounding those teams when we do talk about them. So formalities out of the way, guys. Hit like, hit subscribe, turn on notifications. We're 11 subscriptions away from that magical 250. Let's get there this weekend. Let's push beyond. We're also not far away from 50,000 total views. So let's see how we go. But obviously, it's myself, Tony. I am joined by Baxter. Baxter, quick fire question right now. What game are you looking forward to the most this week?
Look, I thought about it, and I'm going to have to change my answer here, but it's going to be the first up. It's going to be the Roosters Eels. Both teams looking incredible coming off last week's wins. Obviously, you guys against the bye, so let's just crack into it, eh?
I'll tell you what, the bye did test us a little bit. From all accounts, I'm hearing there's no injuries, so fingers crossed we do get through. But before we jump in, let's have a quick look at that NRL ladder. You've got the Broncos obviously in first. You've got Manly, Dolphins, and the Warriors rounding out the top 4 with the Roosters, Sharks, Panthers, and Rabbits rounding out the top 8 with Storm, Bulldogs, Titans, Knights, Cowboys, Dragons, Eels, Raiders, and the hapless Tigers sitting in 17th position to round out the bottom 9. But like you said, it's Thursday night football. It is the Roosters taking on the Parramatta Eels. I will be there. There's the squad on the screen. You've got James Tedesco, Daniel Tupu, Joseph Suali'i, Drew Hutchinson coming in for the suspended Joey Manu, Jackson Paulo, Luke Keary, Sam Walker, Hargraves, Brendan Smith, Lindsay Collins, the Butcher brothers, Radley, Turpin, White, Allen, Fletcher Baker, and Ben Thomas has secured that 18th man position at this stage. Now, for me, very similar to the team that we did have against South Sydney, obviously with the one change of Joey Manu being out due to suspension. But what do you make of this squad? Let me know what you think. Let me know about your different combinations you think could work, and then we'll jump into Parramatta Eels and give our prediction.
Yeah, this squad looks pretty unchanged from 2 weeks ago, and look, I can't say anything bad about them because they're getting the job done, and they're highly favourites by the bookkeepers to win this whole thing, minor premiers and the grand final specialists. So, without Joey Manu, I still think you're going to get the win here. But it's just that four-pack, that lethal four-pack on the screen. You got Jared Smith, Collins, the Butcher brothers and Radley. I think maybe a little bit down, depending on whether this goes ahead or not. But you might have too many monsters on the field. You might have too many men, big names on the starting 13 at the moment. Maybe Hargraves or Collins need to have needs to sit on the bench, and Radley just comes in and out of the game as he does. So you don't want to be too crowded with big men on the field. Excuse me, at once. So hopefully. By the time Thursday night football kicks off, one of these players may be sitting on the bench and will do a big impact off the bench.
Yeah, I definitely hear you there. Now, I think if there's one thing we've seen from Trent Robinson is he isn't afraid to go against the status quo. We saw against South Sydney, everyone lost their minds when he put Brandon Smith and Hargraves on the bench to start the game. Yet it was those two players that came into that game, changed their momentum at 10-0 down and turned it in the Roosters' favour, and ultimately didn't get the Dally M points like we thought they would, but ultimately got the Roosters the 2 points, which if I'm a player, I know what's more important. I want that premiership over individual glory. But what did you make of that Brandon Smith Hargraves benching? Do you reckon, you said maybe one of them might drop out. Do you reckon that was purely based on it's Roosters, it's South, there's the aggression. Let's let these guys go at each other a little bit. Then we'll bring these players on so Hargraves doesn't snap early. Do you think that's what it was?
I can't agree there. Keep your explosive players out of the fight and bring them on in the last 15, 10 to go in the half, and let them just get the feel for the game. And like Brandon Smith did, he found the line and scored a try, a brilliant one from dummy half. So, my biggest, it's not worry, but I'll put it back to you. Drew Hudson starting at 4, starting at left centre there. Would you rather him start, or would you rather Corey Allen, who, if someone goes down, Drew has more, is more of a utility player when it comes to spots, compared to a Corey Allen who, in my opinion, can only fill really 3 spots in the back line. Do you see that changing?
No, I think if it was any other game and say it was, say, Jackson Pollard that was suspended and Joey Manu was there, I think there's a big chance that you see a Corey Allen playing on that side rather than having Drew Hutchinson in the middle. But I think someone like Jackson Pollard, who in attack he looked brilliant against Souths, and at the back end defensively he looked good, a lot of the attacks came down his side. So I think this is more put in a big body, put in someone there so that it deteriorates from someone running at him, because I'm just trying to get my channeling right here, and I'm almost sure that Sivo will be running at this side. So if you've got Sivo coming at him, you want a big body in Drew Hutchinson to at least help cover him over the sideline. So I think Drew Hutchinson will start, but it wouldn't shock me if, say, 25, 30 minutes in, you see Rads get a break, you chuck Drew Hutchinson into the lock or Corey Allen in, you kind of shuffle around a little bit. But this side, it's strong on paper. Over the next couple of weeks, we should be welcoming back Angus Crichton. We should be welcoming back Matt Lodge. We should be welcoming back Satilli. So this squad is kind of like Trent Robinson going against that status quo. He's going, you know what, I'm going to try different combinations. I'm going to chuck him in there because come round 20, when the back end starts to really matter, I'm going to know who my starting lineup is moving forward. But we will chuck the next one on the screen. It is the Parramatta Eels, but obviously I will be at this game. So fingers crossed we get the job done. But let's chuck it up there and I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, you got the man, Clint Gutherson, ready to move in any shape, way, or form in the fullback role. We've got Michael Sivo and Billy Simerson in the wing position, with Will Penasini and Waka Blake in the centres. Brown and Moses are the halves pair, with RCG and Wiro Greg. Look, you're gonna have to pronounce that again for me, like in the offline.
Craig.
Oh, what a name! I want to know where his background with that name. I want to know what background he is. In the forward pack role, with Josh Hodgson making the hooker role, Bryce Cartwright, Ryan Madison in the second row, with Jermaine Hopgood in the lock position, Matt Dury, Brendan Hands, Jake Murchie, and MM to make the bench, with Jake Arthur to make the 18th HIA interchange bench. Now, as I'll let you look through my history of this person. It's an okay squad. They got the win over Penrith Panthers last week, but the club, you want Guffo. Really, you're looking for a fullback, an explosive fullback, or a game breaker fullback role. I think you've got that in Clint at the moment. I know he's 30 at the moment, but could you look for a better center? Could you look for an explosive center? There is rumors out there that another player who can play center at rep level is currently testing his water, going to go test himself on the open market. Look, he's 32 also, so could you get the man from the Australian capital up into the Parramatta Eels squad? Hey, you got Josh Hodgson there. Maybe you could do it again, but maybe you go out there and look for a younger center, a cheaper center, someone you can mold into the way you want to play. But look, they got the win last week. Was it the best way to win? Not really. Sort of really on the finer things of life, but against this Rooster side, I can't see them really holding them out and winning this game. So, in my opinion, I am going to go Roosters in a close one, 1-12.
Yeah, it's interesting that you do mention that, obviously, to Clint Gutherson, and kind of they did openly come out and say they are looking for another fullback. They've said it's from the 14th man position. I think from all accounts, they are looking at the youngster from the Titans. So if he does come in, it'll be interesting. Do we see Clint Gutherson move into the centres like a Turbo does in Origin? We don't know. But like you said, I think they're more likely or more should go and find, obviously, that centre position, because that is where their weakness is. But obviously, in this game now today, let's talk about the important things. The game kicks off tomorrow. Junior Polar is out. He did take the early suspension, the early guilty plea, so he will miss the next 2 weeks. But I do look at this squad, and I think where this game's going to be won, and usually between the Roosters and Para, it's one in the back, that back six, the spine, the back seven. But I think these front forwards, the RCG, the Josh Hodgkinson at dummy half, Bryce Cartwright, Ryan Madison, Jermaine Hopgood, those players against the likes of Radley, the Butchers, Brandon Smith, I think that's where the game's going to be won, and whichever halves partner can capitalize on that and get them into the field position they need, that's a team that's going to win this game. So I am a little bit more confident now that this team has won a game. I was shitting myself thinking they're going to be 0-4 coming against the Roosters, but they are 1-3. So fingers crossed it does turn into 1-4 tomorrow. But I'm going to join you in that, obviously 1-12 with the Roosters. But massive shout out to Victor Radley, who will play his 100th game tomorrow for the Tricolours. So if you're adding all his suspensions, all these head knocks, it's a pretty big milestone to get to. So massive shout out to Rads, beers, and more beers, and we'll move.